Oh, wow, it looks like we finally have a peace deal. Oh, wait, we don't? Wait, we do? What's going on here? Yep, that's pretty much it, except for that last bit. Lots of conflicting, wild news happening right now with Ukraine, Zelensky, the United States, Russia. What in the world is really going on here? We're going to be unpacking all of the latest news and the developments happening on the front line, since there's so much news to talk about, as I think a lot of people are getting it wrong here. And looking at it, there's a lot of reason to be skeptical, as Tucker Carlson lays out specifically why we are not getting any type of peace deal here at all. Now, again, the news broke this morning. Ding, 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 we got a deal. No, we don't. It's convoluted. It's complicated. We'll get into it all here on this independent media broadcast. If you appreciate our efforts talking about hardcore geopolitical news for the past 17 years, predicting a lot of this stuff, subscribe. Click the notification button. We greatly appreciate all the time that you spend with us. Now, breaking news. Ukraine agrees to peace deal, U.S. official says. Now, what deal? As, of course, if you remember, there was a leaked U.S. draft plan to end the Russian-Ukraine war. It was a 28-point plan. The Ukrainians now came back with their own deal and said, look, we agreed to this. It's not the American deal that the European and the neoliberal and the neoconservative press was calling the Russian deal. Again, so much disinformation, so much hyperbolic nonsense here. I just want this war to end. And a lot of people are prematurely celebrating, saying it's over. Fox News breaking. Ukraine agrees to peace deal. Ukraine changed the terms and made it a different deal that benefits them, that isn't the deal that was originally worked on, that the United States proposed. Now, this is what CBS News is reporting. A U.S. official, another anonymous source. I love anonymous sources in this day and age. So trustworthy. Anonymous source, WMD's in Iraq. I hate this. Anonymous source told CBS News on Tuesday that the Ukrainian government had agreed to a peace deal brokered by the Trump administration to stop Russia's nearly 4-year assault. The American official and Ukrainian national security advisor, Rustem Umerzian, said a common understanding on a proposal had been reached, with details still to be worked out. Wait, did you work out the deal or not? Details still need to be worked. We got some. It needs to be. What? Are you working on something or you did something? Yermak voiced optimism that the Ukrainian president, Volodymyr Zelensky, could travel to the United States before the end of November to finalize an agreement. CBS News was first to report Sunday that U.S. and Ukrainian officials had previously discussed a potential visit. They love visiting the White House. The Ukrainians have agreed to the peace deal, the U.S. official told CBS News. There are some minor details to be sorted out, but they have agreed to the deal. The news came as U.S. Army Secretary Dan Driscoll was in Abu Dhabi to meet with Russian officials. 2 U.S. officials and 2 diplomatic sources who were not authorized to speak publicly told CBS News. A 5th source with knowledge of the talks also confirmed Driscollov's presence in the capital of the UAE. Over the past week, the United States has made tremendous progress towards a peace deal, and they have been working secretly behind the peace deal here. And here comes the Independent with their propaganda nonsense. Ukraine has shown the U.S. a viable peace deal. So again, this is not the American deal. This is not the 28-point plan that Trump gave to the Ukrainians. This is their own. Like, we agreed to our own thing. Our own thing. What's their own thing? Well, it's probably scenarios and situations that are more beneficial to them. But this is the propaganda. This is where they lay it on thick. But can Trump shake off Putin's influence? Trump and Putin, you're ridiculous. Like, stop it. What do you mean Putin's influence? What are you talking about here? Donald Trump has been very heavy-handed on the Russians. And then on Ukrainians, he's like wishy-washy. But overall, he's been very heavy-handed on the Russians. This whole Russian collusion nonsense was there. It was the perfect psyop by the Democrats and the Clintons and the Barack Obamas and all of the national security intelligentsia state to set up a situation for prolonged war and conflict. As again, as we've seen with the Battle of Pokrovsk, that the Russians are deploying tens of thousands of troops. They are showing significant gain. And the last video we did talked about the kind of complications of why Ukraine wouldn't agree to the deal. They came with their own deal. The Ukrainians are still looking for mainly like PR victories, as they just took out a Russian officer in Siberia. They have a lot of clandestine secret operations that they're involved in. They're bombing a lot of facilities inside of Russia. Russia's bombing them, drone bombing them. It's a forever conflict that is ridiculous here. As, of course, Mario Nafal here writes, this deal is going to be rejected by Russia. This war's not ending before Christmas, as this new 19-point peace plan is, of course, a peace plan that the Ukrainians kind of came together with the Europeans. And they, quote, cleaned up the controversial 28-point draft. We read out the 28 controversial point draft here. And the 28-point U.S. draft here was supposed to be the first real deal at ending this war. Instead, sources say Russia is preparing to shoot it down, then pretend it's still open to dialogue so Trump doesn't think Putin is stonewalling him. Classic quote, Kremlin diplomacy, sabotage with a smile. Lavrov is already out front saying that anything deviating from the original Anchorage draft is unacceptable. Meanwhile, Kiev accepted the updated plan because their vision doesn't force Ukraine, so the new plan, to shrink its military by 70%, abandon NATO forever, hand over the entire Donbass as a consolation prize. So pretty much the Ukrainians are like, we're not agreeing to anything. Okay, now before getting into that, and a lot more, because the 28 plan was pretty clear here, the Ukrainians just like erased a lot of it and like, no, we're going to get all the concessions, and you're going to rebuild, and we're going to join NATO. NATO is the main reason why a lot of this type of conflict kicked off all the way back in 2014, back all the way 2012. Anyway, before talking about that and a lot more, before going into Tucker Carlson's and Tim Pool's comments and playing some of those videos, just really quickly, check out wearechange.shop today. We have brand new supplements available to you that are absolutely great and incredible. We have a very wide store. You go all the way down. We have a lot of gag items that are pretty funny and hilarious that you could buy for Christmas. But I think one of the most important ones to take, especially during this cold and flu season, is our vitamin D. Most vitamin Ds don't have K2, they clog your arteries. Most vitamin Ds you need to take with fat. We decided to help you out with that and to add extra virgin olive oil with our vitamin D. It is the ultimate vitamin D. Make sure your magnesium levels are good too. It's very hard to test for magnesium. Lots of people are deficient in magnesium. Lots of people are deficient in vitamin D. That's why we created the Sun Force Bundle, which gives you magnesium glycinate. The reason people are like, why don't you just put it all in one bottle? Well, you're supposed to take vitamin D in the morning with fat, right? Take it with healthy fat. Magnesium glycinate, you're supposed to take it at night, right? We can't create a magic pill that like hangs out until nighttime and then it was absorbed in your body. Most vitamins are scams, but we made sure to get the best stuff on the market. We are change.shop. We got our Black Friday special. We got our sales, as you can see, the discounted prices that weren't previously available before. Get it right now, vitamin D and the Sunforce bundle. Just get the vitamin D alone. I mean, most people's vitamin D levels are down bad, and it really is the kind of main hormone, the main kind of mineral that is the main thing when it comes to helping people defeat a lot of the kind of nefarious things out there that are plaguing our health. Now, anyway, let's go back to this conversation here. So the Ukrainians came back and they said, we're not shrinking our military. We want to join NATO. And this is what sparked the whole conflict from the very beginning. And we're not going to concede any land. That's it. The Russians are going to see this plan and they're going to be like, no. So why are you telling us it's accepted? The peace deal is accepted. No. The Ukrainians counteroffered here and said, no, we have our own deal. And it's not realistic here. Now, again, Russia has their demands. Ukraine has their demands. Me in the middle. Stop this conflict. Stop this war. And again, this war is not going to end. It's not going to stop. As Tucker Carlson has a theory why. He came out and said, for months, the Wall Street Journal has held a story detailing the personal corruption of Andrei Yermak, the second most powerful man in Ukraine. Yermak has skimmed hundreds of millions in American tax dollars meant for Ukraine aid. Yeah, there's a lot of money missing. It was also found out that the Ukrainians were supposed to build defensive positions, and Ukraine's so corrupt that they're like, "Oh yeah, we built them," and then like the Russians came in and there was like no defensive positions, and the Ukrainian military was like, "What the hell?" And it looks like some politician middleman just pocketed all the money for themselves. Lots of Ukrainian people on the front lines are being left with inadequate equipment, being screwed over, not even getting the best of the best stuff. Some of them are. The Foreign Legion are becoming some of the most fiercest fighters on earth. Like, I do deep dives and I look into like, because like I nerd out on a lot of this stuff here, and the type of tech, the anti-drone tech, the drone tech that they have. Oh my goodness, it's like Call of Duty, but like more complicated and more insane here. But there's like feared legions within the Ukrainian military that when they go into a battle conflict, they always win. Now, the vast majority of the Ukrainian forces, there's reports of low morale, and there's reports of a lot of people deserting and a lot of people not being there. They do have some foreign legions. They do have foreign mercenaries that are extremely powerful. That is true. The journal editors can prove that, but they're not. Instead, they're protecting Yarmak. Why? Because Yarmak is leading Ukraine's efforts to scuttle the Trump peace plan for Eastern Europe. The owners of the Wall Street Journal don't want peace with Russia. They want war. Yeah, why? They're also connected to the intel agencies. The intel agencies love war. Intel agencies have been involved in this war. The CIA has been there training Ukrainian troops on the ground for this conflict. The first shots, the first bombs were already dropping all the way after the Maidan Revolution. Right? They're like, oh yeah, these guys don't want to go along with the revolution. Time to bomb them. They're more aligned with Russia. Russia started funding them. And this proxy conflict has already been going on far longer. 2012, 2014, the shots were and bombs were already being dropped in the Donbass region, a territory which the Russians are saying, yeah, you know what? Now it's going to be ours. And the Ukrainians saying, no, it is ours. We're not giving it up. But they want that corridor to Crimea since they don't want access to the river and agriculture and farming land to be cut off from them. Now, anyway, Tucker Carlson continues, quote, they want war. At the same time, the journal's editor page has attacked the Trump administration for pushing a peace agreement. Yeah, why is Trump getting attacked? Why is the Independent attacking Trump? Why is the corporate media attacking Trump for wanting peace? And granted, Trump could be doing something better. There's a couple of things that he can be putting specific pressure on that he's not. Tucker goes on, quote, this is true corruption. Without informing its readers, the Murdoch family is using both sides of its newspaper to continue the war with Russia. That's not the behavior of a news organization. It's the hallmark of an intel agency. Yep, and they always have been. As, of course, listen, the leaders of Russia, Ukraine, France, Germany, Britain, the Wall Street Mav writes, they're all in agreement. They just want this war to continue. Trump just wants peace here, and they're not getting it. Again, make some concessions. Russia's going to reject this counteroffer, as a lot of people are saying. This counteroffer is not even serious. It's not even a start to a conversation. And allegedly, behind the scenes, Trump is threatening to cut off aid, as of course he's still continuing to deliver massive amounts of aid, massive amounts of weapons to the Ukrainians. And he's saying, Zelensky, you better agree with this. So Zelensky coming out saying, no, we agreed to a totally different deal that's not going to work, is, I think, trying to save face here. Again, people are like, now the onus is on Trump. Trump better not concede to the Russians. And I was like, the Russians are just going to say no, and they're going to keep bombing Ukraine and attacking Ukraine here. As Robert Barnes says, Marco Rubio killed the peace plan. That's what he's alleging, as a lot of people are saying that Trump's getting really bad information, really bad info, as now we're getting Politico reporting Rubio changes the tact of Trump's Ukraine negotiations after weeks of chaos. The administration shifting messages on Ukraine underscores Trump's preferences for non-traditional policy coordination. It's just a ridiculous scenario and situation. Like, okay, you want war? You're going to have war forever. Why are we involved in it? Why are we still spending a bunch of money on it? I'm not a fan of any war, of any conflict, but let's be honest, now the United States is aiding and abetting this perpetual conflict that a lot of people in Ukraine want to end.
We've got this news. U.S. and Russia to hold new talks as Ukraine hopes to finalize peace deal. This report coming in.
Yeah, and again, Trump came in with his plan. Zelensky changed it completely. Now they're going to have another summit. No, they're not. No, they're not. Zelensky's like, yeah, we're going to come in. It's like, okay, you just set up a deal that's a non-starter, right?
In just a moment ago. And this is what we're hoping for, ladies and gentlemen. For
hope. Is it going to manifest in anything? No, it's not. I hope I get a gajillion dollars and I become the Federal Reserve banking system so I could, get rid of it. I hope. Hope doesn't give you jack-ish now.
For all the naysayers, all the crackpot cultists who just wanted us to be at war for whatever reason, this is our opportunity to say enough. And I got to say, America should not be involved.
And we still are under Trump. And Trump is involving us. And Trump is threatening to even be more involved. And Trump said he's not going to be involved. And then he is involved. That's the reality of the situation. And it's like, bro, what are you doing? As, of course, Viktor Orban, the leader of Hungary, came in and was like, dude, the Ukrainians can't win this. And Trump's like, what? And Trump's like, no, there's, it's 1 to 1,000 losses. The Russians are losing 1,000. The Ukrainians are losing 1. And it's like, what kind of propaganda information are you getting there, buddy?
And they say, you're Russian stooge, because I don't want the U.S. to spend $250 billion in Ukraine.
I want Slavic men to stop dying. Ukrainians and Russia. I want everyone to stop dying. There's a population collapse in Europe. Why are we propelling it? And of course, the demonic demons out there that are promoting the woke agenda, they already cut the deals with Ukraine to rebuild and to allow them to be just an open hub for immigration from Africa, from the Middle East, from Asia. It's like, come on in, guys. All the young Ukrainian guys are just being sacrificed at the altar with these frickin' fighting drone kamikaze bloodthirsty machines. Throw them at the chainsaw. That's going to be great. We're going to replace them with people from sub-Saharan Africa. Nothing could go wrong with that. Ukraine already agreed to that deal, by the way.
I can say the same of Israel. This idea that we are going to dump all, you know what? I'm going to break all this down for you guys.
Yes, enough of Israel too. Why are we financing that one? Stop financing Ukraine. Stop financing Israel. Stop financing Egypt. Stop financing. Stop financing all of it. We got enough problems to worry back here at home. Can we take care of that? Can we take care of our problems at home? Can we do something here? That'd be nice.
Guys, you know what? I'm going to break all this down for these, the people who are overt Zionists who are like, Tim, we have to fund Israel, but they don't want to hear the arguments. And the people who think we should be funding Ukraine, who don't want to hear the arguments, and literally any other country, mind you, be it something in the Middle East, Iraq, Afghanistan, money being dumped into these places. There is, and I give you, a fact-based, legitimate argument against all of this. And if you want your cake and you want to eat it too, we got to have a discussion.
Yeah, stop it. Stop with this nonsense. Stop with this insanity. I mean, Trump's talking about, we're going to be testing nuclear weapons. The Russians and the Chinese are carrying out secret underground doomsday nuclear weapon testing. You know what? We're going to do the same. And you know what? Russia responded with? Yeah, we're going to launch nuclear bombs too. Russia's like, oh yeah, we got a new nuclear-powered nuclear bomb. Yeah, you heard that. That could be in the air indefinitely, in low orbit, just fly around, used whenever we want it. I'm like, come on. As Trump ordered the Department of War to start nuclear tests to match China's and Russia's. Why is China and Russia preparing for war? Because we keep financing it, paying for it, enabling it. We set up sanctions. Guess what? The freighters are just doing ships-to-ship transfers from Russia's shadow vessels in international waters, and they're able to evade sanctions. Right? And who's getting enriched by this? China, India, right? Why are we doing this? As of course, like our tax dollars are just being whittled away, wasted away. And it seems like no one's taking this seriously. And it's like, yay, we made up our own make-believe fairy tale deal land. That's a non-starter. That no one's going to go along with. That no one's going to approve. And it's like, yeah, we did it. What did you do? Try to save face here? Again, this is all true right here. Yep. And I think there's a lot of corruption, a lot of big money. There's no elections. There's no opposition party. There's no opposition media. I would argue, in both Ukraine and Russia. So these madmen are going to keep being in power. Europe is already becoming more and more of a dictatorship where the liberals are solidifying their power grab forever, and they're the party of war, and they love it. Viktor Orban, the only guy there, is like, hey, guys, no more war, please. Can we stop it? And they're like, he's a fascist. Idiots. Absolute idiots. I think the situation is out of hand. Anyway, thank you so much for supporting me on We Are Change.shop. What do you think? What do you think is going to happen here? I say there's no peace deal. Not anytime soon. Forever war. Until the next one sparks up somewhere else, and then they'll end this one. But they always need a war to do their illegal activities with the intel agencies. What do you think is going to happen here next? Let me know down in the comment section. This is a brand new channel, so subscribe. And check out the main channel. We're going to continue doing our coverage here. I wouldn't be here if it wasn't for you guys subscribing. Thank you for supporting this brand new channel. And this is why I love you guys. Stay tuned for more, all here exclusively on youtube.com/wearechange.